11, Local First.
The long-awaited, highly anticipated Whole Foods will soon be opening in Lancaster. We have the inside scoop, plus this.
More restrictions are coming for Pennsylvania hunters because of chronic wasting disease. I'm John Buffone. Tonight, I'll tell you what they are.
But first, a home goes up in flames in Raffo Township. Good evening. I'm Shannon Murphy. A home in Raffo Township has extensive damage after a fire last night. It happened at a home on Fieldstone Drive just before 8 o'clock. According to reports, the homeowner saw the fire from outside the house and called 911. It only took firefighters about 10 minutes to extinguish most of the flames, and it was under control within an hour. Authorities say the majority of the damage was contained to the garage and the bedroom above it. The State Police Fire Marshal is investigating the cause. Thankfully, there are no reports of any injuries. An Ephrata woman died following a head-on crash in East Cocalico Township last week. Authorities say 19-year-old Inna Kazimirova died 2 days after the wreck. It happened in the first block of West Church Street. Police say Kazimirova was driving a Prius when she crossed over the center line and hit a Honda driven by a 24-year-old woman, also of Ephrata, head-on. Both were transported to Reading Hospital. The crash happened on Wednesday, and police say Kazimirova passed away on Friday at the hospital. Well, Pennsylvania hunters are already feeling the effects of restrictions caused by chronic wasting disease in deer. But now the PA Game Commission is expanding those regulations beyond state lines. Our John Buffone has more.
Ever since a deer near Denver was found to have chronic wasting disease, new restrictions have been implemented about what parts of a deer you can and can't carry out of a quarantine zone. But now those restrictions are bleeding into surrounding states.
This order should enable hunters to have a better understanding of what they can and can't do.
A new executive order released by the PA Game Commission says that any deer harvested in New York, Maryland, West Virginia, or Ohio must follow the same guidelines to limit the risk of spreading CWD.
Previously, the parts movement would only be prohibited from certain counties in those states, but in order to enforce it better and to give more of a clear understanding to the hunters that travel and hunt in those areas, we've made the entire state as the area where parts will not be transported to Pennsylvania.
Now, if you harvest a deer in one of these restricted states, it's important to know what you can and can't take across state lines.
The high-risk parts that we refer to are the head, which includes the eyes, lymph nodes, brain, teeth with the root attached, the spinal column, and the spleen.
Those specific parts carry the prion that causes CWD and can't be brought back with the deer. But how long will these restrictions be in place?
As long as chronic wasting disease is known to be found in those states, then the executive order will remain in effect.
While this process might be a bit burdensome to hunters, the Game Commission believes it will take a joint effort to limit the spread of this deadly threat to the deer population.
There's only so much we can do. This is one of the things that they can do to help us, to help prevent the spread of this disease, to help make sure that wildlife that we have today, the white-tailed deer we have today, will be around for their kids and grandkids in the future.
Reporting in Reading, John Buffone, News 11.
The Southeast region of the Game Commission plans on holding 2 more educational seminars on chronic wasting disease before archery season this fall. Well, it was just a rainy, chilly day out there, but things will bounce back tomorrow. Meteorologist Dave Allen has more in our first look at the forecast.
First Look Weather is brought to you by The Wagon at Weaver Markets. Check out weavermarkets.com for this week's menu.
Shannon, it was definitely a cloudy, dreary day out there. We do have some rain still lingering, but the good news is we have a dose of summer coming our way, and it starts tomorrow. I'll be back with the complete forecast, including how hot it could get to start Memorial Day weekend. All coming up in just a few. Shannon.
We'll see you then. Thanks, Dave. Denver Borough is waiting legal advice about a property that is no longer deemed suitable for human habitation. The borough recently spent 3 days and over $8,000 to clean up this property on 836 Oak Street. There was enough trash and debris surrounding the property to fill multiple dumpsters, and there is still a mold problem inside that could cost thousands of additional dollars. Borough manager Mike Hession said it's important that properties within the borough maintain a clean and friendly appearance.
It's also just a way of a quality of life issue. You know, people want to come to a place where people take care of their properties, where it looks safe, where it's clean, and they can live their lives the way they want to live.
The current owner has been fined multiple times, but improvements have yet to be made. The borough is now exploring options of putting a lien on the property to recoup the cleanup money, which could ultimately result in a sheriff's sale. Gas prices jumped 12 cents over the past 14 days, landing the national average at $2.93. Lancaster County is seeing an increase at the pump, totaling slightly over $3 just to fill up. AAA predicts nearly 37 million travelers will hit the roads for the holiday weekend. And compared to the last 3 Memorial Day weekends, pump prices are nearly 50 cents more expensive and climbing. 14 states have already reached an average of $3 or more, and Pennsylvania has landed in the top 10 for most expensive gas prices. AAA says these recent trends are indicating that gas prices will continue to rise well into the summer months. Well, the wait is almost over for Whole Foods at the shops at Belmont. Mark your calendars for June 27th. The supermarket chain specializes in natural and organic foods. The store will employ 120 workers and takes up 40,000 square feet. Whole Foods has more than 470 stores across the U.S. and Canada, with 13 right here in Pennsylvania. Meals on Wheels headquarters will soon have a new home. Officials announced today that they will move out of their current address on Manheim Pike and relocate to Mix All-American Pub on Columbia Avenue. Meals on Wheels purchased the building for $550,000. Mix will relocate to Willow Street in the coming months. With the growing senior population, officials with Meals on Wheels say they want to be prepared and believe the move is setting them up for success.
So it's about capacity and making sure that we don't have to worry about a single day where a client calls us and says, hey, my mom's fallen and she needs meals, or hey, I'm going through a surgery and I need assistance for the recovery period, and us then having to say, sorry, maybe call back in a month or two. We never want to be in that place.
The new headquarters will also allow more room for a carport, events, and job training. Well, there's still plenty of local news coming your way on the Early Report.
The unique friendship of Ryan and Wendell has been printed in this book. I'll tell you all about their story of becoming friends.
Plus, what to look for at the grocery store to help local dairy farmers stay in business. And later in sports, playoff baseball begins again. Ephrata Mounts entering the District 3 tournament. Brian Cass has opening game highlights. A unique story of friendship between a felon and a police officer has made its way to print. News 11's Taylor Toshev sat down with the two to learn more about their story. She joins us live at the Plasma with more. Hey, Taylor.
Hey, Shannon. For Ryan and Wendell, the odds of becoming friends was definitely against them, but through forgiveness and a book, their friendship has inspired all who have read their story. Leading different lives, Ryan was the one in and out of the prison system, and Wendell was the one that kept putting him back in. The two couldn't have disliked each other more.
Kind of actually started as hatred. I went to the New Holland Police Department in 2001, and instantly within going there, I had to deal with a known criminal in our town, which was unfortunately Ryan.
I had a distrust for authority and the police. I didn't care for them, and it led into drugs, alcohol, and everything. I went down a path that got me arrested to the tune of 7 times in and out of the county prison here in Lancaster.
It wasn't until Ryan's 7th time in prison that he had a change of heart, found God, and found a new meaning for his life.
And I started to get kind of these visions go through my mind about community and love and hope and people working together. And then all at once I just felt this presence in the cell that I had never felt before.
Throughout the bustle of the New Holland Fair, the same place Ryan was arrested by Officer Metzler 5 years prior, was when their story changed.
I felt a prompting to make amends with him. And so, God had been working on my heart for quite a while to take responsibility for my actions and take responsibility for my life. A seed was planted to start a friendship. Now, that friendship has grown ever since. It's been 11 years.
The odds of becoming friends were against them, but through forgiveness and understanding, they were able to share their story through the pages of their book, Unchained.
Of us becoming unchained together through that act of forgiveness is another reason why I think we named the book that without knowing it.
And don't judge this book by its cover. Under the uniform and orange jumpsuit, Ryan and Wendell are your typical best friends. And although they can't agree on a football team, they have been with each other through life's greatest moments and the lowest life has to offer. And now the memories in the past are just printed words on paper.
A lot of times when we do public speaking, I have to look at my notes to recall the bad things that he did because I can't see them anymore. You know, so much time has passed and so much good has come out of our friendship. It's hard to remember back when he did those things.
Ryan and Wendell are available for speaking engagements. Visit unchainedministries.com for more information. We'll send it back to you, Shannon.
Thank you, Taylor. Great story. Well, this week marks National Public Works Week as a way to recognize public works employees in their communities. This week's theme is the power of public works and gives a voice to the impact public works has on modern civilization. From providing clean water, building roads and bridges, and removing snow on roadways, public works services determine a society's quality of life. This week, make sure to thank a public works employee for all their hard work they do for our community. When one single day, the Lidditz Warwick Community Chest and the Lidditz Postal employees were able to gather 6,000 pounds of food from the Stamping Out Hunger Food Drive. The National Food Drive encourages people to set out a bag of non-perishable food for postal employees to then pick up while on their daily mail route. The food donated will go towards community members in need. The Lidditz Warwick Community Chest said this is one of their 2 biggest food drives of the year, and they're thankful for the community's generosity. The Wolf administration and the state's Department of Agriculture have partnered together to launch the Choose PA Dairy campaign. The Wolf administration and the state's Department of Agriculture have partnered together to launch it. This initiative was created to support Pennsylvania's dairy industry by educating consumers on how to find and buy locally produced milk and why it matters to the state's economy and the health of its residents. There are 2 primary ways to find local milk. First, look for the PA Preferred logo or the plan code 42 on the packaging. Both indicate the milk was produced in Pennsylvania. The dairy industry contributes $14.7 billion annually to the state's economy and supports 52,000 jobs. Well, Dave Allen will join us next with a check on your extended forecast, plus how you can continue to support the 100th anniversary of the Ephrata Fair. But first, here's a check on Wall Street at the closing bell.
News 11 weather, local first.
Well, a dark, cloudy, and a rainy day out there. We do have the threat for some strong thunderstorms later on, but the good news is sunshine's going to return in full force tomorrow. Let's check out where our videographers took us today. A beautiful shot. We are looking at a very low cloud deck across the area, and it was foggy, it was rainy, and we do have, yes, the threat for some thunderstorms later on this evening, but conditions will improve, and we do have a lot of sunshine coming our way. Now let's look at these national temperatures and see what's going on. You can see where the clouds are keeping the temperatures down. 62 in Philadelphia, but just to the west, out in Indianapolis and even Pittsburgh, we are in the upper 70s, low 80s. Let's look at our current conditions in downtown Ephrata. We do have cloudy conditions, wind southeast, humidity 79%. Precipitation, we did have quite a bit. This is current as of hourly, so things have lightened up out there as we headed through the afternoon. Now let's look at our temperatures across the area. Reading, 61, we are experiencing rain. Further east you are, the more rain you're going to see as this slowly moves out. Further to the west, we are looking at the 60s. Elizabethtown, we are looking at some thunderstorms as well. And here we can see the thunderstorms starting to fire up here along with the clearing. The sunshine factor is going to play a big role into who gets what. And you can see them firing up across the northwest part of the state. With time, they should move east-southeastward, but thankfully, as the sun sets, they should lose some of their intensity, but we can't rule out a strong thunderstorm or two as we head into the early evening hours. Zooming in here, you can see the warm front moving through. Some clearing may take place, and if we see some sunshine, those temperatures are going to spike up pretty quickly ahead of the cold front. But once the front moves through, it's really not going to do much other than lower the humidity, and we have perhaps a spectacular day to talk about in Mannheim. We're starting out with some morning fog, but once we get into noon and 6 p.m., we're getting up into the mid to upper 70s, low humidity, a north-northwest breeze. It is going to be a picture-perfect day out there. Now, as we head into the latter half of the work week, it's going to get pretty hot and muggy very quickly. And when we get into Saturday, I think it's going to be the hottest day of the forecast period, the most humid. We're looking at dew points perhaps in the 70s with temperatures in the upper 80s. So definitely an uncomfortable start to the Memorial Day weekend. Let's hope you have your pools open and ready because you'll definitely need them. But once we get into Sunday and Monday, yes, we are looking at some unsettled weather for the latter half of Memorial Day weekend. For Wednesday, we're getting up to about 80, Thursday 80, 83 on Friday, but that humidity in the upper 60s with the dew points is going to make that 83 feel more like 88 or 89 degrees. And once we get into Saturday, it's going to be the hottest day, 86. It wouldn't surprise me one bit to see a few isolated 90-degree readings with that sunshine, but we are looking at perhaps a shower or a thunderstorm Saturday evening, and Sunday, unsettled conditions with perhaps some thunderstorms, and Monday the clouds continue. Temperatures drop back down into the 70s with plenty of clouds out there, but still not too bad of a forecast. More sun than showers and rain, that's for sure, and that's always a good thing. I just wish that Memorial Day weekend was shaping up to be a little nicer. Shannon.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, Dave. Well, events continue to help raise money for this year's special 100th anniversary of the Ephrata Fair. Another Kaufman's Chicken Barbecue fundraiser is on its way. Monday, June 4th from 3 to 6 p.m. you can pick up half a chicken for just $6. To pre-order, send a check in no later than May 26th to the Ephrata Farmers Day Association, and your tickets will be sent back to you in time to pick up or purchase your chicken at the day of sale at the Ephrata Farmers Day Association building. Now, again, all proceeds from the barbecue fundraiser will benefit this year's 100th annual Ephrata Fair. I did it last time they had one of these. It was a great pickup to, I didn't have to cook.
Yeah, I love it.
Which is always huge for me. You are talking baseball today.
Yes, Shannon, we've got all the highlights from the District 3 baseball tournament, plus weather permitting barnstormers on the channel tonight. And that is not all. District 3 volleyball tournament continuing. Local matchup between Mannheim Central and Cocalico. Who survived? Find out next in sports. We will kick things off with the District 3 baseball tournament. The Ephrata Mounts' quest for another District 3 title is underway. They won the whole tournament back in the spring of 2016. 2018 first round action versus Fleetwood on Monday night. The Tigers, the 14th seed in the bracket, but we've seen upsets before. Ephrata sent Nate Young to the mound. He has become a dominant force on the bump. Earlier in the year, had 16 strikeouts against Lampeter Strasburg. He's just sitting them down, and the Mounts offense has his back. Coach Adrian Shelley has coined it the loose change offense. Put some pressure on, a little bit here, a little bit there, and it all adds up. Blake White touching home to give them the lead. Into the fourth inning, Adam Macer dropping down the bunt. It's loose change all game long. Throw gets to first, but the ball pops out, rolls into the outfield. Macer finally realizes it. He takes off for second. Zach McGillen running this whole time. He comes home, slides in safe, and that's Mounts baseball. Ephrata up 2-0. McGillen also coming through with your web gem of the night later in the game. Nice job. Mounts win 3-0 to move on to the next round. Now, Ephrata will play the winner of this first round game. Mannheim Central versus Lampeter Strasburg. LS wins it 5-0, ending Mannheim's season and setting up that rematch with Ephrata in the quarterfinals. The two teams met last Thursday in the LL League final, in which the Mounts won it 9-6. It would seem the Pioneers are going to have their ace ready to pitch. Chris Perazzi on Thursday. Ephrata, on the other hand, likely will have hard-throwing Adam Schwartz ready to go, so it should be a fantastic matchup. Now, there were supposed to be District 3 softball games played out there today, but the rain has postponed them 24 hours. The Garden Spot ladies will play at Lower Dauphin in the 8-9 seed matchup 4:30 tomorrow afternoon, while the Lady Barons of Manheim Central travel all the way to Shippensburg for their game. Same time, 4:30 on Wednesday. On a District 3 volleyball, the 2A bracket back in action, and two LL rivals, Manheim Central and Cocalico. They're meeting in the quarterfinals. Now, last spring, they played for third place and a state playoff berth. And just like last year, the loser of this match packing it up and going home. Their season will be over. Let's take you to SS Hollaball Gymnasium. The Eagles played the Barons tough last time they met in this year's regular season, and they play them tough here in game one, letting it all out in the court. Eagles playing through the middle. Avery Stark whacking it for the point. It's 13-11. Eagles within 2 points. Barons, though, starts to rev up the engine. Ben Burkhart sets it out wide for Tanner Stauffer. Nice elevation there. Barons recover well from last week's LL title game loss to Hempfield. Game one, very close, but Mason Nisley shutting down any hope of a Cocalico upset. The Barons win it 25-22. They want to sweep the Eagles. They now move on to play Palmyra in the semifinals tomorrow night. And finally, to the Atlantic League of Professional Baseball. Lancaster Barnstormers are scorching hot. 10 wins in a row, rocketing up the Freedom Division standings to first place. They are a game and a half up on the Sugarland Skeeters, but the War of the Roses resumes tonight at Clipper Magazine Stadium. Here's the best part. You can see all the action here on BRC 11. First pitch set for 7 o'clock. We'll see if the rain stays away long enough so they can get the game in. York as a team just barely above the 500 mark, although they are, of course, the defending Atlantic League champions. Eric May and Dave Collins will have the call, so remember to join us. But for now, that will do it for sports. We'll be right back.
Well, anyone that has ever played with Play-Doh is quite familiar with its iconic smell, which is why the toy company, the makers of the popular children's arts and crafts favorite, has trademarked the smell. The company announced the news on Friday, stating that the trademark is now officially recognized by the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Hasbro described the unique scent as a combination of sweet, slightly musky, vanilla-like fragrance with slight overtones of cherry and the natural smell of a salted wheat-based dough. But most adults would probably just describe it smelling like their childhood. I don't know. What do you think? You like that smell?
The trademark smell? How about the trademark taste? I used to
yeah,
eat,
I know. My kids,
I ate
kids
Play-Doh all the time.
Goes right for the mouth. Well, that will do it for us. I'm Shannon Murphy.
I'm Brian Cass. We'll see you tomorrow.